All right. Welcome, everybody. We are so thrilled that you could join us tonight. My name is Becky Choate, and I am tuning in from Smithfield, Virginia. And we have people from all over the country. This is so fun because when we were announcing this event, we had to have like all these different time zones. So we are thrilled that you are here. And I'm going to start by sharing my screen so that you can see our presentation tonight. And let me see if I can get this to, how can I move that over 1 second here? There we go, to the presentation part so you can see this a little better. And tell me if you can see this better this way or if it was better when it was smaller. Any feedback on that?
The bigger is better.
Bigger? Okay, so we'll leave it like this. So we are excited to share with you tonight about how can we have less stress and more energy. It's a really important topic, and I just looked up a few statistics before we got on tonight, and I want you to know that this was United States statistics, 77% of our population, or the people that they tested, experience stress regularly. And that could be manifested physically or psychologically, that they are feeling stress. 33% of the people tested in the United States are living with extreme stress. So a third of our population has extreme stress. And then 48%, their stress has increased over the last 5 years, which that can happen just depending on different life stages, can't it? Just so many things can be a part of that. So we wanted to just look a little bit at some of the consequences of stress on our body. So this very first one is so interesting to me. IBS stands for irritable bowel syndrome, and it's really common among women, and about 1 out of every 3 women have some type of irritable bowel. You can have colitis, ulcerated, maybe that is colitis, but anyway, there's all the different like little subcategories of irritable bowel, and it's actually one of the most common digestive disorders that women go to look for medical care. Then stress can suppress our immune system and can really ramp up autoimmune diseases. And I was looking at I thought I want to just define what autoimmune is really doing, and it's where the body produces antibodies that attack its own tissues. Marietta, can I have you mute yourself real quick? That would be great. Hello, we're glad you're here. And then types of autoimmune are going to be like rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, multiple sclerosis. Those are some of the types of things that can happen. Again, all this is from stress. Then we also can have these consequences. We can have some cardio things, and just reading that list, blood pressure, cholesterol, and then contributing to memory loss, depression, or anxiety. And I don't know about you all, but I feel like I see and hear so much more about depression and anxiety as a really common problem in our society, that is ramping up. Then we look at sleep deprivation, and women tend to have a greater risk of developing insomnia than men. And I especially feel like I'm right at 50, and so kind of in this perimenopausal phase, and I can see what happens sometimes with our hormones fluctuating, and I may get to sleep but then wake up later in the night and can't get back to sleep, and then the next day I'm tired, and then I'm eating more to stay awake. I mean, it's like this whole cycle that's crazy. And then another, of course, consequence of stress is this cortisol. And cortisol, when we have too much of that fight or flight mechanism going on, so when we have something that happens, whether it's something at work or in our family, where all of a sudden you have your defenses up and you feel that fight or flight, your body is producing cortisol. And if it does it too much, you have excess cortisol that really has, what do we call that, Elena? Like the belly belt or whatever. It's
the belly fat, you mean?
Yes. So and some people may not be heavy anywhere except right around the middle, and that's a classic sign of too much cortisol in their body. Anything you want to add to that, Elena, before I do this next slide?
No, I just think that it's so important to know what stress can cause, because sometimes we don't understand the impact. And, stress can be happy stress, And it can also be, sad stress, but stress is stress, whether it's happy or not. So
Mhm.
it can happen.
Absolutely.
May
Thank you
I
for
add
that.
something real quick?
Hmm.
The question seeker over here. One other thing about stress too, there's chronic stress also, and it was the University of Missouri at St. Louis who just did a research study a couple years ago that found that we can actually pass the effects of chronic stress onto future generations. And I think the research goes now to 2 generations.
Wow.
So isn't that terrifying? So if we have medical problems because of chronic stress, it could be that we pass it on to our grandchildren who we may not even live to see, but they still get that through our genes.
So you can see then how stress and energy are interrelated. That even though we just talked about the consequences of stress, so much of that impacts our energy during the day. And so typically when we're stressed, we're not going to sleep as well. We don't eat as well. And I don't know if any of you on this program tonight are ever stress eaters. Some people get stressed and they forget to eat. Some people stress and then that's all they do is eat, which we know isn't good. And then that can lead to frequent illness, low energy, weight gain. There's all kinds of things that can happen with that. And I just wanted to introduce actually my daughter. I'm going to stop the PowerPoint just for a minute so you can see their faces a little bit better. And my daughter Sarah is on, and she wanted to share her testimony about how she's been able to get better with less stress and more energy. Go ahead, Sarah.
Yes, obviously my mom has been doing Shaklee for almost 20 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I grew up with the supplements, but like in high school, I had an immense amount of stress. I was an absolute perfectionist. I'm still recovering. But it would take me between 1 to 2 hours just to fall asleep because I couldn't unwind mentally. And that really took a toll on my body. And so I started taking stress relief and magnesium before I went to bed. I'm now 23 and obviously out of high school and college, and my sleep cycle has totally regulated. But now I'm also using the shakes every day. That's what I wake up and have every morning, and usually a snack bar in the like later morning as well. And so I rarely have to drink coffee because I feel fueled for the day. I feel kind of ready to go. Those have been really key products in just helping to maintain a little less stress, especially with sleep, because that's like my biggest thing. But then also just with how you're fueling your body.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sarah, for sharing that. And then we've got Alyssa, who is an audiologist in the Dallas, Texas area. And Alyssa, we would love for you to share your story.
Sure. And you can hear me. I think I unmuted myself.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So I did just want to share that. So I guess in adolescence and high school, all the way up through college, I slept really well. I never had a problem sleeping. I was full of energy. And then after college, the real world hits. And so, you go into the workforce and it's just completely different levels of stress, longer hours. So at least, in college and high school, it's maybe 8 to 3, or college, you had a few courses here and there, but the true workforce was just like a complete game changer for me. And so much like Sarah, I would find myself, maybe not being able to wind down at night, thinking about what I need to do the next day, and like we all do. And then also, like you said, so going to sleep and then maybe just not sleeping deep enough. So not getting great rest, waking up in the middle of the night, and then again, turns the brain on, can't fall back to sleep. So I chronically for the past several years had been going through some of that. And just could not catch up on sleep, even on the weekends. I had no energy to go out and explore and have fun like a young person in their 20s should, because on the weekends I wanted to just, close up shop, hole up in our apartment and lay on the couch all day, trying to catch up on that rest from the week. And so a little over a year ago, about 15 months ago, was introduced to the Shaklee family and products. And so realized that, nutritionally, I'm eating like a college student. So it's like unhealthy stuff, greasy stuff, snacks all the time, the occasional apple.
Right.
Not only was I wasn't fueling my body properly to have the, enough energy to deal with all the stress and with all the, just the daily activities, but on top of that, like we mentioned before, regularity and bowel issues as well. So, and I'll get kind of raw here, but often had soft stools, or would only go maybe once a day. A lot of straining involved, just not healthy in general.
Sure.
The clockworks were gunked up. And so I got on the Daily Women's Vitalizer, so the multivitamin, which also includes a fabulous thing called the B&C complex, which is just like a boost of energy for the day. So I don't drink coffee. I just take that. I take my shake every morning and it's like good to go. Clockwork's all back to normal. So multiple times a day, we're rolling. Don't feel as bloated and heavy at the end of the day like I was, building up through the day and just getting heavier and heavier and bogged down. So the last 15 months for me have been an incredible change of pace, kind of almost like a 180. Hence the name.
No, there
The
you
180
go.
program. Yeah.
That's awesome. Alyssa, thank you so
Thanks.
much for sharing. All right, let me go back to our presentation part here. And then I failed to introduce my co-host tonight, which is Elena Giacomo-Dennis. And Elena is tuning in from New Mexico. And take it away, Elena, for this next part.
Hey everyone. I think it's so important to have listening to both Sarah and Alyssa talk, these young women, and how stress has affected their life. And can you imagine if they hadn't taken control of this, what their life would be? And probably some of us can relate to that. So it's essential for all of us women, and it's not exclusive just to women, it's men too, to really make healthier choices, food choices, learn to pick up the pace and be a little bit more active, even if it's just walking to your mailbox. Maybe that's the first thing that you do. But managing stress is important, and learning how to do that and supplement wisely, because sometimes managing your stress isn't enough, because as we mentioned earlier, it's a matter of both it being happy stress and sad stress. It still affects your body and it affects your energy. So go ahead. Thank you. And I wanted you guys to see this, because not all vitamins are created equal. And when we start talking about the importance of supplementation, I was 31 years old when I was introduced to Shaklee, and so grateful that I have had this in my life. But before that, I was using all these different brand X and never really noticing a difference. Well, now there's more information out there, and a lot of vitamins are coming from China, which can trigger a lot of problems because they're not safe. Many of the vitamins in the marketplace, and I think it's really important for us to know this, contain artificial colorings, hydrogenated oils, toxic metals, lead, mercury, PCBs, even talc and asbestos, and I mean, things that you just wouldn't even expect to be in vitamins are. And so what we're going to be talking to you about is the difference, the Shaklee difference. And 100 years of innovation is something to really take note of, because in 1915, Dr. Shaklee created the very first multiple vitamin mineral. Now, that's kind of hard to comprehend. 1915, long before many of us were around. Well, none of us were. But to know that someone was thinking about the importance and had a vision for the importance of supplementing the diet. So, not everybody not a lot of people are visionaries, but he was, and he saw what was happening to the refining of foods and the processing of sugars and things. So we created the very first, and we've been doing this innovation, and these are just some of the products along our journey of becoming very, very important to look at the DNA of this company. And the company is about really making a difference and providing the cleanest, purest plant-based products. And in this next slide, we're going to see that not only did we have a past But we now have a DNA that's moving forward, and Roger Barnett is leading this company into the future so that we have very, very innovative products like what we're going to be sharing with you this evening. Stress relief is one of those products that's extremely innovated because it blunts the cortisol from pumping into your system and affecting your brain or your heart or your lungs or even your digestive system. And there is a Shaklee difference. So when you're looking at how do you know if a company is clean? Well, you want to be looking at whether or not the company is pure, that they don't compromise on the quality of their raw ingredients, that the products are safe, but they also need to be potent and they need to produce results. So I love this bubble page because it talks to us about there's now more than 125 published clinical studies and scientific papers. 350 quality control tests are done every single year just on the botanical ingredients that we're looking for harmful chemicals and contamination. And over 100,000, no, that number is big, 100,000 different ways that Shaklee tests for purity and potency. Even the air in the manufacturing facility is being tested. And individuals like world-class athletes are now choosing to check products because they know that they're safe, and Olympians get drug tested 24/7. So for them to be choosing the Shaklee products, we just want you to know that these products are safe for you and your family. And so, Becky, the next slide just really helps us to understand this just a little bit differently, in that we can tailor this for all of us for different ages and different, whether we're a male or female. And Becky, why don't you explain that to us?
You bet. So this is a really convenient little strip of vitamins, and you can see the little pills there that it's showing, and we've got a Vitalizer Women, Vitalizer Men, and then a Vitalizer for those people that are over 50. And over on the side you can see the key benefits that this is giving, and it really is just covering a lot of different bases. Now, you can get any of these products that are in that strip individually, but Shaklee did a really cool study called the Landmark Study that they felt like these are some of the most essential things that people need to get. So that's how they developed it. That's how they decided to put this strip of vitamins together. It also has this patented smart delivery system, and now I can't remember what all those initials stand for, but basically it means that everything is going to dissolve at the right place at the right time. And so you can take this once a day and get 24 hours of this nutrition. So if you're a person that likes to take pills at lunch, you could put it in your purse, take it to work, take it at lunch, or if you maybe want to do it before bed or whatever. And that's a convenience with that. Some of those things, when they're taken separately, they actually need to be timed a little bit differently. So when people are like, where do I start? We just want you to know this is a great place to start with the Vitalizer. And this is what you get in the Vitalizer. This is all the food. I just want you to look at some of this. Who wants to eat 12 cups of mushrooms today? Or 2 baked potatoes, or 3 1/4 cups of brown rice. I mean, it's like crazy. 17 bananas. We couldn't even eat this much. You know what I mean? And so this is all that food, because I think it's important for you to know that Shaklee's supplements are food-based, even more than organic, derived, and they're all put into these little tablets for us to take, which is so great that we don't have to actually chew and eat all this food. It's in that Vitalizer strip. And the main thing when we're talking about these initial things too is that every single cell in your body is made up of vitamins, minerals, and protein. And that's why we're starting. This Vitalizer has the vitamins and minerals you would need, and it has even more so. And then here is our protein. Now, protein is really helpful in a lot of ways. And when I first was introduced to Shaklee 20 years ago, I didn't realize I didn't have a lot of protein in my diet. To be honest, I never took shakes or anything. I just thought of like chicken and beef and that kind of thing. But I also wondered why I always needed to take an afternoon nap. Well, when you have enough protein and good solid protein, and this is a plant-based protein in your diet, it not only gives you energy, but you have all these side benefits that it has. And you can see over there, energy, it's going to help you with sustain you for 3 to 4 hours, less sugar cravings because you're filling those cells with what they need. A lot of people experience weight or inch loss and then retaining or even building muscle. And you can see on the bottom there, we have lots of different kinds. We have soy-based, non-soy, whey. So really to cater to what your system needs for that. The next thing we want to talk about is that stress relief complex. And I love this mouse. I think he's super great. But the stress relief complex, Elena just talked about that a minute ago, and it is these 2 amino acids, the theanine or theanine and L-tyrosine. They are going to really help calm anxiety and stress, and they actually help with neurotransmitter production that is going to help, of course, with our mental health. Then when you look at that ashwagandha, that's an herb that helps to reduce those cortisol levels that Elena was talking about. And it's also shown that it's going to help with clearer thinking. And you can just imagine when we are more calm, we can think better, we can, our brain functions better, and that's why it talks about the alpha waves. It's helping your brain to calm down and to think more clearly. So stress relief complex is a wonderful thing. So it's separate from the vitalizer. It's not in the vitalizer. This would be a separate thing. And so here's a few other things that might be helpful. The stress relief, we just talked about that. B complex is in the vitalizer, but some people find it helpful to take a little bit more. I'm one of those people. I do take more B complex than what's in the vitalizer. And then over on the side is our wonderful energizing tea, and that comes in pomegranate or green tea, and it's a beautiful blend of white, green, and red teas. And it's just a great way for an energy boost. It's a nice alternative for coffee. You can have it hot or cold if you're a coffee kind of person. Anything else on that, Elena?
No, I was just going to share this whole thing about energy. As you were talking, Becky, I was thinking about myself 39 years ago when I was a young mom with 2 kids, and how I was always so tired.
Mm-hmm.
They would go down for a nap. I would want to go down for a nap, except I would make a stop first, and that is to the cabinet above my refrigerator where I stored my peanut M&Ms.
Yes.
I put them up high so that the kids couldn't get to them, but I would just snorf them down. When I say snorf, I mean a quarter. And these were big bags. And then I would get sick. And, it wasn't until Shaklee came into my life. So somebody might say, well, how do I know that this is really going to make a difference? I just want you to know, besides these young girls, at the age of 31, when I started taking these products, all of a sudden, I had more energy. I wasn't craving anything. And I just felt more vitalized, and I felt more in tune with myself. So can these things make a difference? They really can. And it's because of the Shaklee difference. So I just wanted to make sure that you understood that the reason we're so excited about this is because of what we said earlier. Not all vitamins are created equal, and these can truly make a difference.
That's so good. I don't forget to take my vitamins. So it really does make a difference.
Yes. Well, I wanted to share a few collections with you. Becky and I did. And we just want you to know that there's many different ways of getting started. And when I first got started, it was the multiple vitamin and the protein shake that made the difference for me. And so for $72, now these are member prices. So if this is new to you, you want to talk to the person that invited you. So for $2.40 a day, you have something that's going to be feeding every single one of your cells. But if you want to power your day and actually kind of just make sure that you are able to go from early morning until later in the day, we have the Vitalizer strip that gets delivered at the right time and at the right place in your body. Now that's exclusive to Shaklee. They're the only ones that have that delivery system. So for $2.66 a day, you could do that. Now I looked up on on some information, and I found out that McDonald's, where's my little piece of paper here? Oh, I might have lost it. But McDonald's, for $7.50, you could order a Big Mac and a fries and get all this extra fat and all this extra.
Right.
But it costs so much, right? And it's not feeding your body. But when you add stress relief to the package, then for $108 a month, this is for a month, that's $3.60. And, even going to Starbucks and getting a latte and something to eat is $7.40. So you begin to see that there is a way of doing this so that you can vitalize your body and provide the nutrients that you want and help you into the future. Because when I was 31, I had no idea 39 years later what this was going to do for me.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about conquering your day. So what if you really wanted to take this on? The Vitalizer Strip and Protein, the Vitalizer Strip and Protein and Stress Relief, and Vitalizer and Protein, Stress Relief, and the Energy IT, which I absolutely love. The maximum amount you would pay here on a daily basis is $7.06 when you order the Vitalizer Protein and Stress Relief. And of course, there's a lot of different other options, but we want you to know that Shaklee has your best interest in mind, and that if you'd like to get a membership, you can do that with the person that has invited you. Preferred memberships actually allow you to get free shipping. So Shaklee is really wanting to make it easy for people to use these products. So talk to the person that invited you tonight for more information about that.
Mm-hmm.
And many of us, and this was me, just started to use the products, noticed a great big difference, and then I started to share. And so if this is a part or a component that interests you, you can share with a few family and friends, and you can earn some extra money. But once I saw the business opportunity, I left teaching to build this as a career. And I've been so grateful for all the benefits that Shaklee has given me, including the health and the financial rewards. But you get to choose what is best for you and the way that you want to participate in Shaklee.
Mm-hmm. And we want to put a plug in here too, that in 2 weeks, the 24th, we're going to be doing an event just like this on the build part. And so if that's of interest to you, mark that on your calendar or ask the person that invited you.
Mm-hmm. So as we close, first of all, we just want to thank you for joining us. And we thought that you might want to spread the word, because if this interested you in what you learned tonight, you probably have some friends that might appreciate this information as well. And we want you to know that if you'd like to host something like this, we would love to offer you some free products for doing that. And you can do it on Zoom. This might be your first time doing something like this on a video conferencing, but we can do it in person. We can do it on Facebook. We have lots of different options. But we love sharing this information because it has impacted our lives.
Mm-hmm. So much, so much. All right, I'm going to stop the share. I wonder if we should stop the recording, Elena, but then we could still answer some questions, but just to keep the recording a little bit smaller size for people.